My name is Michelle Jackson. I'm with the Human Services Council. I want to thank everyone for coming out today to support such a critical issue, not just to human services and to nonprofits across the city, but to all New Yorkers, because human service workers are in desperate need of a raise. Am I right? Yeah! So workers in the human services sector provide critical services across the city, including health care, home care, senior services, homeless services, child care. The list goes on. And these workers have not seen an increase in their city contracts in over 6 years. We're here, right? So we're here today to work with the mayor to get an important increase to these human services contracts. And what we're asking for is 5% this year and 5% next year. So announced just last week an incredible goal of reducing the number of people in poverty in New York City by over 800,000 people. This is an incredible goal, and you know who's going to be on the front line in helping him? Human services workers. We are the critical partner in helping the mayor achieve his goals around ending inequality and making for a livable New York. But we can't do that if our workforce isn't paid adequately. When nonprofit workers don't see an increase in their salaries, it hurts the sector. It makes our infrastructure weaker. It makes it impossible for nonprofits to recruit and retain employees. And it makes for a high turnover rate, which impacts clients, which is unfortunate because caseworkers are really critical links to clients, and they need that stability. We can do better. We have to do better. In New York City alone, nonprofit organizations provide over $5.5 billion in human services contracts each year. We are the main employer of women and people of color. This lack of an increase is not only hurting the economy and crippling the sector at a time when need is on the rise, and the mayor is committed to ending inequities. We're here to work with the mayor in getting a long overdue increase in our contracts. Again, we're asking for 5 and 5, which will go a long way to fixing the inequalities of the human services sector, who is so critical to the fabric of New York, to getting pay equity, and to making New York a livable place for everyone, including the people who serve in communities. So I want to thank you all again so much for coming out. I want to first introduce Councilmember Rodriguez. Thank you so much for joining us.
I want to say thank you. Someone that, living in Washington Heights, being part of family for many decades, we know what it was to rely on social services. My approach in life as someone that used to be a former teacher for 30 years before being elected is that anyone who chooses to be a social service is someone that has a big heart. You do it not because of how much you can make. You make a choice on being part, helping the working class, helping the middle class. You could be in the finance, you can be working other places, making much money. By you making the difference when it comes to someone who doesn't know how to navigate the system, how to support someone that is a single mother, how to work with a senior citizen who's been told for many years that he or she should not have the right to get the services that they need. So as someone that is very proud to have the most progressive mayor in our history, and we can say that today we also have the most progressive council in our history, I just also like to say thank you, and I'm committed to work with you and the administration to see an increase in the living adjustment that is so needed. You know what you Yes, we can!
Yes, we can! Yes, we can! Yes, we can! Yes, we can! Yes, we can!
Thank you so much. So next, I'm going to introduce a great partner to this effort from the Federation of Concept Welfare Agencies, Wayne Ho.
Yeah!
HSC for organizing today's press conference. I'm Wayne Ho from the Federation of Protestant Welfare Agencies. And I just want to emphasize how vital the social services sector is to New York City. We're an employer. We provide economic development with the resources put into the community. And as Michelle already acknowledged, we are the main employer for women and people of color in New York City. Unfortunately, we know that this sector has been divested in for much too long. So what that means then is that there's too many times that the people who work in our sector look like the clients that they're serving. They're eligible for the services that we are providing. Over 50% of employees in social services agencies earn less than $14 an hour. The vast majority of these individuals are women and people of color. So that's why we know that this is the right time for us to work together with City Hall to say that we need to invest in the human services workforce, we need to invest in the human services sector, and we look forward to continuing these conversations to make sure that there's a cost of living adjustment as well as a living wage for all our employees. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wayne. And so before I introduce our next speaker, I just want to read a quote from Councilmember Stephen Levin, who has been a great supporter of this effort as well. He says that workers in the social services sector are incredibly valuable to New York City, yet we aren't paying them what they are worth. I'm proud to join with this coalition in support of a 10% increase in cost of living adjustment for the social services sector. So we just want to thank him for his support. And then next I'm going to introduce Yigal Jelinek, the Executive Director for Live On New York. All right.
Are we living on? Future? Do we have a past? Think about senior citizens. The future and the past. Are we here for 10% or 5 and 5? 5 and 5! Is Heights and Hill here? Yeah! Where are you? Heights and Hill.
Behind you.
Yay! We're all over the place. House. Amico Senior Center. I know she's here. We believe the city and the mayor, we call upon the mayor to make an investment in giving a COLA, a salary increase. Think about this. People who deliver the Meals on Wheels, who make less than $14 an hour, people who drive the buses that take seniors to their doctor's appointments, to the senior centers. Think about the social workers who haven't gotten an increase in 6 years, who go into people's homes to do assessment, who are homebound. Think about the cooks in the senior centers who are there, the program directors. And if I'm not mistaken, July will be 7 years, am I correct? Yes. We can't go on like this anymore. We're really calling upon the mayor to make an investment in a salary increase of 5% and 5%. I want to thank the Human Services Council for taking the lead on this and leading us here. And I think we got to be a little louder. You guys are too quiet.
Thank you so much, Yigal. Our next speaker is Angela Gonzalez, who is the Vice President of WIN. I think the people from WIN are here.
Good afternoon. As a representative of WIN and Vice President of Transitional Housing, I am here to support a call for a COLA increase for individuals working in the shelter system and in the human services field. They are really great people doing an amazing work. Our families appreciate them. WIN appreciates them, but the City of New York must recognize their vital work. The case managers, the childcare workers, the recreation staff, the maintenance staff, the security staff, the clerical staff all have an important job to do in delivering vital services to our families, and they're committed to the work that they do. That's right, Angela. Unfortunately, we are not able to recognize them appropriately because we cannot pay them a COLA. They have not received a raise in 6 years. Mr. Mayor, a COLA for our staff is desperately needed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Where's the money?
So next we want to hear from, is Stephanie here? I haven't seen her yet, so I'm not 100% sure if Stephanie from SEO made it today. SEO? No? Okay, just checking. So next I want to invite Gregory Bender up from United Neighborhood Houses. He's going to help close out the rally.
Bring it home, Greg.
Thank you. I'm Gregory Bender. I'm here on behalf of United Neighborhood Houses, New York City's Federation of Settlement Houses. We strongly support this campaign. New York City must address inequality with its own human services workforce. We are thrilled to be working with an administration that wants to take dead aim on inequality. But in many cases, we see the faces of inequality among the people who are working at our programs. The folks who are caring for New York City's older adults should be able to afford to care for their own aging parents. The folks who are housing New York City's homeless should not be struggling to pay rent their own. The folks who are caring for New York City's children should be able to provide for and care for their own children. We are passionately supporting attempts to move this forward, and we're glad to work with Mayor de Blasio and to work with the City Council to address inequality for the human services workforce.
I want to thank everyone so much for coming out today. I think we've made our presence at City Hall known. The budget is coming out soon. What we want is 5% now and 5% next year.